Chrysler ME412. Developed in the early 2000s, this mid-engine supercar was intended to be a genuine Bugatti rival. Powered by a quad-turbocharged V12 engine producing 850 horsepower, it recorded staggering acceleration times during testing. The project was incredibly close to production, but internal politics within the newly formed Daimler-Chrysler alliance ultimately killed it, as Mercedes executives allegedly did not want a Chrysler outperforming their flagship SLR McLaren Cadillac 16. Unveiled in 2003, this massive luxury sedan was a modern tribute to the coach-built V16 cars of the 1930s. Under its dual-hinged hood sat a custom 13-liter V16 engine that generated an astounding 1,000 horsepower without the aid of forced induction. While it was fully functional and even featured in mainstream media, the sheer cost of manufacturing such an excessive powertrain during a time of tightening emission standards meant it remained a singular masterpiece. Dodge Viper GTSR concept. Created in 2000, this aggressive prototype was designed to showcase the future styling direction of the Viper lineage. It featured a dramatically lower stance, functional racing aerodynamics, and a modified V10 engine that pushed the boundaries of street-legal performance. Although the exact body lines never made it to the assembly line, its design language heavily influenced the third-generation Viper that eventually reached dealerships a few years later. Ford Mustang GTR concept. Built to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Mustang in 2004, this track-focused machine was meant to signal Ford's return to affordable grassroots racing. It utilized a heavily modified 5-liter V8 engine pushing over 400 horsepower paired with massive carbon fiber wings and racing slicks. While Ford never mass-produced this specific model, the parts used to build it were made available through their racing catalog, allowing enthusiasts to construct their own versions. Pujo Oxia. Appearing at the Paris Motor Show in 1988, this futuristic Grand Tourer looked more like a spaceship than a traditional French automobile. It was powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine delivering nearly 700 horsepower, which was routed through an advanced all-wheel drive system and four-wheel steering. Despite its incredible performance capabilities and fully functional climate-controlled cabin, Peugeot simply built it to showcase their engineering prowess rather than to sell it to the public. Mazda Furai. This stunning vehicle was designed to bridge the gap between purpose-built race cars and street-legal supercars. Constructed in 2007 using an American Le Mans Series chassis, it was powered by a 3-rotor Wankel engine that produced a distinct high-pitched scream. Tragically, the only existing prototype caught fire and burned to the ground during a magazine photo shoot, turning one of Mazda's most beloved designs into a pile of ashes before it could ever be considered for a limited production run. Ford Nucleon. Introduced in 1958, this concept represents the absolute height of the atomic age fascination. Instead of an internal combustion engine, it was designed to be powered by a small nuclear reactor situated in the rear of the vehicle, theoretically allowing it to travel thousands of miles without refueling. Obviously, the technology to safely miniaturize a nuclear reactor for consumer use did not exist, so the vehicle never progressed beyond a scaled-down fiberglass model. BMW Ginalite Visionary model. Revealed in 2008, this experimental sports car completely reimagined traditional automotive manufacturing. Instead of using rigid metal or composite body panels, the exterior was wrapped in a flexible, translucent fabric stretched over a movable wireframe. This allowed the car to physically change shape, opening its headlights like human eyes and growing a rear spoiler when reaching high speeds, though the vulnerability of the fabric made it impossible to produce commercially. Lamborghini Egoista. Built to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the brand, this vehicle took the concept of a selfish driving experience to its literal extreme. The name translates to selfish in Italian, which is fitting since it features only a single seat enclosed in an orange-tinted canopy inspired by the Apache helicopter. Powered by a potent V10 engine, the car was completely functional but was always intended to remain a unique one-off museum piece rather than a car you could buy. Lancia Strato Zero. Debuting in 1970, this wedge-shaped masterpiece was as much a sculpture as it was an automobile. Standing just 33 inches tall, it was so low to the ground that it lacked conventional doors, requiring the driver to lift the front windshield and climb up the steering column to enter the cabin. While it was never practical enough for the road, its radical geometry directly inspired the legendary Lancia Stratus rally car that dominated motorsport a few years later. Mercedes-Benz C11. During the 1960s and 70s, this series of experimental vehicles served as a rolling laboratory for emerging technologies. Featuring striking gull-wing doors and a bright orange fiberglass body, Mercedes used these cars to test everything from multi-rotor Wankel engines to highly advanced turbo diesel power plants. Wealthy customers sent blank checks to the factory begging to buy one, but Mercedes firmly maintained that the vehicles were purely for research and returned every single deposit. Volkswagen W12 Nardo. Created in the late 1990s, this vibrant orange supercar was built to prove that Volkswagen could engineer a reliable high-performance engine. It housed a massive 12-cylinder engine formed by fusing two narrow-angle VR6 engines together. The car successfully proved its durability by breaking the 24-hour endurance speed record at the high-speed ring in Italy, and while it never reached showrooms, its engine architecture became the foundation for the Bugatti Veyron and modern Bentleys. Dodge Dior. Originating in the custom car culture of the 1960s, this heavily modified pickup truck completely flipped the traditional layout. Based on a Dodge van, builders moved the engine to the rear and completely removed the side doors. To get into the driver's seat, one had to open the front windshield like a hatch and step over the steering wheel. It gained massive cultural fame when it was immortalized as one of the original 16 Hot Wheels toy cars, though it remained a singular custom build. Maybach Excelero. Commissioned in 2005 by a tire company to test their high-performance products, this massive luxury coupe looked like a vehicle built for a comic book villain. It weighed nearly 3 tons but was capable of reaching speeds over 218 miles per hour thanks to a twin-turbo V12 engine. The singular prototype was eventually sold to a private buyer for an estimated $8 million, cementing its legacy as one of the most exclusive status symbols ever constructed. Alfa Romeo Bat 7. Created in 1954, this vehicle was part of a trilogy designed purely to study the effects of aerodynamic drag. The most striking feature of the car is its massive curved tail fins that curl inward toward the center of the vehicle, forcing air to flow smoothly over the rear. The extreme teardrop shape resulted in an aerodynamic drag coefficient that modern cars still struggle to match, proving that mid-century Italian designers were decades ahead of wind tunnel technology. Bugatti 16 C Galibier. Unveiled in 2009, this elegant fastback was intended to be the ultimate four-door luxury sedan. It utilized a variation of the massive 16-cylinder engine found in the Veyron, but featured 2 superchargers instead of 4 turbos to provide a smoother power delivery. Bugatti executives seriously considered putting it into production as their second model line, but the project was ultimately shelved so the company could focus entirely on developing their next-generation hypercar. Audi Rosemire. Introduced at the turn of the millennium, this polished aluminum brute was a tribute to the Auto Union Grand Prix cars of the 1930s. It featured a colossal 16-cylinder engine mounted behind the driver, a massive grille and no rear window, relying entirely on a camera system for rearward visibility. Much like the Volkswagen W12, it served primarily as an engineering exercise for the larger corporate group, laying the mechanical groundwork for the extreme machines that would follow it. Jaguar CX75. Debuting in 2010 to celebrate Jaguar's 75th anniversary, this breathtaking hybrid supercar initially featured a pair of micro-gas turbines to generate electricity for its electric motors. Later prototypes replaced the turbines with a highly advanced turbocharged 4-cylinder engine combined with a plug-in hybrid system. The project was devastatingly close to becoming a reality, but the global economic climate forced Jaguar to cancel the production run, though it did make a memorable appearance as a villain's car on the silver screen. Lamborghini Atoke. Displayed at the 2008 Paris Motor Show, this aggressive design was an attempt to create an everyday Lamborghini with 4 doors and a usable trunk. It featured the sharp, angular styling typical of the brand, wrapped around a front-mounted V10 engine borrowed from the Gallardo. While public reception was incredibly positive and a 4-door model seemed viable, the company ultimately decided that the luxury sport utility vehicle market was more profitable, leading them to cancel the sedan project entirely. Nissan ID. Revealed in 2013, this compact rear-wheel drive sports car was a retro-styled love letter to the classic Datsun cars of the past. It was designed with heavy input from younger generations, focusing on simple driving pleasure, affordability, and extensive customization options rather than overwhelming horsepower. Despite an overwhelming outpouring of support from automotive enthusiasts begging Nissan to build it, the costs associated with developing a brand new rear-wheel drive platform for a niche market caused executives to quietly abandon the idea.